In the midst of social distancing and business lockdowns, a freelance writer and a graphic artist bought a bus, converted it into a tiny home on wheels, and moved out of our 4-bedroom house. 1 year later, we downsized to a Chevy Express. Now we travel between Texas and Pennsylvania from April through November while exploring small towns with rich histories. In the winter, we hunker down in Texas in our schoolie and dream of our next big trip.
We're Alan and Teresa.
And we're rolling with our gnomies.
Okay. So we're in Harrisonburg, Virginia, and we are in the Visitor Center right now. It's called the Harvesty Higgins House Visitor Center. Now, their walk-in tour says it's the Craft House. It's a brick house or brick structure built around 1848, and they think it's the second oldest house in Harrisonburg. Isaac Harvesty became the city's first mayor, and he lived here. The building was renovated by the city, and it's now the visitor center. Museum, also has some offices, and the Heritage Bakery. So we're going to walk around Harrisonburg, look at some of the history here, learn a little bit about the town. And just a few blocks over, as we drove in, we saw James Madison University. It's a beautiful, beautiful college campus, well known around the country as one of the finest higher education institutions. And Harrisonburg has a lot of history, so we're here to learn about that. Follow us along. You will too.
This parlor, these floors are amazing.
Oh,
Hmm? Mm-hmm.
Each one of these has a keyhole.
Mm-hmm.
That is wide.
Yeah, you gotta have a big house for that.
It's got to be like 18th century.
I would assume so. And I have a picture here as they're rehabbing and taking, it looks like they took off some of the back of the craft house.
That's the house there?
Yeah, that's the house. And it was,
Built in 1853,
They built-
completed in 1853.
yeah, they built craftsman furniture here.
Yeah, nice. And this is Mr. Hardesty, the
Mhm.
man who owned it, who lived in it, the mayor of Harrisonburg.
He was the proprietor of the apothecary. Nice. Nice.
So this is the Asbury United Methodist Church, and it dates back to 1912. I love the frescoes. They are absolutely gorgeous. And the architect, Charles Robinson, designed it. There was an addition built on in 1954, and you can see that in the back.
Yeah, the brick, the red brick
Yeah,
back
the red
there.
brick back there. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous church.
It is.
Walk sign is on the cross. Me.
All right.
Walk sign is on the cross.
Jimmy Madison's. It's a whiskey bar built around 1870, post-Civil War. It's unique to downtown Harrisonburg. It began as a farm supply retailer and later was the first telephone company in Harrisonburg. And it's mostly been restaurants throughout its history. Okay, that's number 17.
Yeah.
So, the Bank of America building, you can see the round corner tower, arches, see the arched windows, give it the six-story limestone structure a castle-like appearance. Boy, that is so true. Opened as the First National Bank of Harrisonburg, with Joshua Wilton as president in 1904, and we'll see the Joshua Wilton House later. Now it is the Pendleton Community Bank.
And across the street, that courthouse.
Alright, so this is Rockingham County Courthouse. It is absolutely gorgeous. Red tiled roofed Indiana limestone with a green dome and a statue of Justice sitting in the center of downtown Harrisonburg on 2.5 acres, which were donated in 1779 by Thomas and Sarah Harrison. And they are who the city was named after. The current building was finished in 1897, designed by architect T.J. Collins, who we learned about in Stanton.
We like Mr. Collins' work.
Yeah, he's got some great work. I love that statue, the limestone.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, this is the first Presbyterian church in Stanton, established in the 17...
No, it's in Harrisonburg.
Harrisonburg. Established in the 1780s. The congregation built this church in 1907, built this building in 1907. Designed by Philadelphia architect Charles Bolton. You see elements of Gothic revival, and you can see in the pointed arches, stained glass windows, and bell towers. Well, a bell tower. Constructed of Indiana limestone, which can also be seen in other buildings downtown.
Like the courthouse.
Yeah.
The courthouse was Indiana limestone.
Nice. This is beautiful.
It is beautiful. Okay.
Alright, this building, the federal building, features 6 very imposing columns, 3 stories, and it was originally a post office. Now it is a federal courthouse.
It says both.
Yeah, it says U.S. Post Office and Courthouse. Built in 1939, it replaced the first federal building constructed in 1886, right here on the same site. A 5-foot-high historic mural in the lobby depicts Country Fair Trading Courthouse Square, created by William H. Calfee under the New Deal. That is really gorgeous. I love the face on that.
As federal courthouses go, that one is pretty imposing.
Yeah, and I would say its beauty rivals a few of them in Texas. I mean, it's not some... I wouldn't say it's more beautiful than all of them in Texas, but I would give it a run for money.
Put it up against Ellis County?
Probably not Ellis County.
But it beats Henderson County.
It definitely beats Henderson County.
And Kaufman.
And Kaufman. Yeah. Oh, it beats Kaufman County by a mile.
And look at that. A Catholic church with a red door.
Look at that. So this is Blessed Sacrament Catholic Church. Built in 1906. Designed by T.J. Collins from Stanton.
What, was he ill that day?
Maybe he just built it by
he had an off day.
Special order.
He had an off day.
Design, I'm sure. The tower and stained glass windows are elements of the Gothic revival style, which you can see very prominently. Charles J. Connick designed the windows, including the rose window above the entrance. That is beautiful. And that was between 1928 and 1948. A new wing was added in the 1990s.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
yeah.
that side there.
I think Collins might not have been feeling his best.
I don't know. So I'm guessing the original church was just this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Unless there's a wing behind it that we don't know about.
Yeah, maybe. But it would have been pointing straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
that courthouse is gorgeous. Uh-huh.
It's on the north side of Market Street. That one is number 3. This one is number 4.
Oh. Okay.
So, this building
is the Newman Building. It's called the Dance Room currently. Has arched windows and structured steel. A very distinctive building. Opened as Rockingham National Bank in 1900. In 1939, the third floor became home of WSVA, the area's first radio station. And on the top up there above the arched window in the corner, it says Ruddle. Don Ruddle bought it in 1946. And since then, it's been used for various purposes. And then across the street, this is the People's Bank building. 6-story corner building, opened in 1916, designed by Alfred Charles Bosham, one of the pioneer skyscraper builders. It was Valley National Bank's headquarters until the 60s. Rockingham County school system had administrative offices there for many years. Now it's professional offices.
It's gorgeous.
It is. And up there in the middle of the building says Anno Domini, and then the year that it was built.
Building wide, stay dry. Is it on your...
It's not on here. There's the Masonic building, built in 1789, and I'm guessing they used it up until 1905. That's what that says, 1789 to 1905. Next to that is the Kizel Building, and that has an interesting history. It's built in 1907, 4-story, tan brick building with arched windows, and it housed the News Register newspaper, a music school, a business college, the public library, and the first offices of the language learning software company Rosetta Stone. Now it's been recently renovated, and it has a deli, retail shops, and apartments.
Okay.
So this is the Virginia Quilt Museum, also called the Warren Sipe House, and it was built in 1855. The George Sipe family made the house their home starting in 1894. Then the city bought the house in the 1950s before donating it to the museum. So this is called the Smith House, and in order to preserve it, it was put on wheels and moved across a parking lot. It was built in 1867 on part of the original Thomas Harrison land. It's a Victorian-style house, and it's been home to many prominent community members. It's now home to the Arts Council of the Valley, Shenandoah Valley.
Nice. Put on wheels and moved it across the parking lot.
Alright, so here's the Harrisonburg Municipal Building. It's a bluestone building designed by Charles M. Robinson, constructed in 1908 as Harrisonburg High School. It became an elementary school in 1928 and has housed city offices since 1960. In the early 1800s, the tract had been a barn for horses, and before the Civil War was the site of a school for girls. It served also as a hospital during the war.
Very pretty building. Okay.
St. Stephen's United Church of Christ, also built out of limestone with red doors, dates back to 1931. It was built as St. Stephen's Reformed Church and includes a cornerstone from 1897. The congregation formed in 1894 but used a building on High Street before moving here. And then across the street is the Joshua Wilton House. It's a brick 25-room Victorian house built in 1888 for the Joshua Wilton family. It later contained apartments and served as a frat house before it was converted in 1988 to be used as fine dining restaurant and an inn. That's really gorgeous. I love that tower there on the corner.
And that, folks, concludes our trip to Harrisonburg. We'll see you next week.
Alright, if I don't do this right, then I'm going to be on the bad side of my wife, So y'all bear with me and pray for me. But while you're doing that, don't forget, share us with your friends. Like us if you like us. Like us if you don't. Subscribe to the channel. It helps us out. God bless.